no, no woman that can take your spotlight.
My name is Kennedy and welcome back to another video. So for today's video, we created the soft glam look, and I just really wanted this video to be focused on the complexion. I have been loving my complexion lately, and I finally perfected the perfect face and base routine. So if you want to see how I got this look, then go ahead and just continue to watch. But before we jump into this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel and also make sure you give this video a like. But let's just go ahead and jump right in. I hope that this little side bang piece is not going to be an issue, because it's cute until it's not cute no more, if you know what I mean. Like, I feel like sides like this are always so cute until it's time to do your makeup. So I think I'm going to like take this front piece before I start and like try to tuck it behind my ear, because I still want to be cute in this video. Okay, so that'll do, but let's just go ahead and start by setting the brows. And I'm just going in with a powder. And I love doing this step just because this really does make my brows last longer throughout the day, and it also just makes them kind of like, it makes them easier to fill in because the pencil has something to stick to. Can I just say, I've really been snapping on my brows lately. Like, they give every single time, all hits, no misses. So I'm going to be showing you exactly how I do it just using this brow. And I'm just going to start off by brushing my hairs upward, and you just want to make sure that all your brow hairs are going up in the same direction, especially if you want to create that like fake brow stroke look. This is the first step, and actually let me just zoom the camera in really quick. Out of my full face, my brows is usually the question that I get asked the most, and I am going to film like a detailed brow video. Well, I always say I'm going to film a detailed brow video, but I just never do it because I'm like, I could literally just put it in a video like this. So I'm just going to be starting off by filling in my brows, and I just like to use this brow pencil by Morphe, and I really like it because the pencil is really skinny, so it just makes it really easy to get a precise line. And this one is actually in the color, what color is this? This is in the color Java, so it's just like a dark brown. So for this step, the tip that I like to do is just pull the skin a little bit tighter in the front as you're filling it in. And this is just going to allow you to get more of a neat line. And think about it like this, like if you have a piece of paper that's like crinkly, drawing on it might be a little bit more challenging because you might get more of a wavy line. But if the paper is flat, if the skin is flat, you get more of a straight line here in this area. And you can try to do it without, but it's just going to be a little bit more challenging. I always just pull my skin, and I just like to start by creating tiny little lines in the front here. And it's so much easier than trying to do it like this, so I would definitely recommend trying this out if you struggle with getting those lines. And for this step, like this part is a little bit easier because this don't have to be as perfect, but for this step I'm just going to fill it in as normal, still creating those soft strokes. Then with this brow look, there are going to be some sparse areas. Every single area is not going to be full. You want to be able to see skin in between some of the strokes. So don't worry about making this like overly full. So once you fill in the brows using the pencil, I love to go in and use a pen. And I've just been using the Eyebrow brow pen by Juvia's Place. And I just like to shake it up. And with this, you just really got to like flick it or you will not get a straight line. So I just like to start by going underneath my brows here. And I'm just going to quickly just create like tiny little hair strokes going up. And with this step, it's okay if you go too high right here, because I'm going to show you guys how I clean that up and fix it. So I just like to start by taking foundation on a flat concealer brush, and I like to start by concealing the top of the brow. And I like to do one brow at a time just so that I can kind of like make sure they're even. So I kind of just like start in the middle here, and then I'm just going to start to clean up the top of the brow. And this is the step that just kind of like frames the brows. So for any brow strokes that you went a little too high with, you can easily just clean them up with the foundation. And I'm not using too much product at all because I just really want this to blend and melt right into the skin. So now I'm just going in with my concealer, and I'm just starting underneath the arch of the brow here. And this is the step that's really going to ultimately shape the brow and give it a lift. And I've learned that using too much product can be dangerous sometimes, so I just like to stick with as less product as possible. And I just kind of like drag it out. And as I need more, I'll go in with more. But I like to finish the arch first. And I'm just going to start to drag it down. So now I'm just blending out that concealer. And you just eventually want to make everything nice and seamless. And you just want everything to kind of like disappear. And this front area here, you don't even, well, I if you want to do your brows like me. I don't really like to do this step, but I don't really like the look of like the thick concealer towards the front of the brow. So I just prefer for the majority of my concealer to be underneath the arch here. For me, this just kind of gives me like more of an elongated brow, and it just makes them look a little bit more defined. So brows are completed, and this is just basically how I do my brows every single day. And of course I might go in and make adjustments wherever adjustments are needed. So if I feel like one is a little too long or one needs like more brow strokes, I'll go in and make adjustments. The last thing I'm gonna say about brows is brows are sisters, not twins, so they're never gonna look exactly the same, but I just kind of like to make them look at least like sisters or cousins, or I want to make them look like similar but not identical, because that would literally be impossible. So now let's just go ahead and move on to the rest of the face. The first thing that you want to do is go in and prime, and I don't always use primer, but when I do, I usually just like to use something that's like pore filling or like mattifying, just so I can get that super flawless look. And this is just the NYX Shine Killer Primer. This is one of those like OG primers that I don't use every single day, but whenever I'm like going for like a really soft makeup look that I want to last, I'll usually use something like that. And I really like this one because it's like, it's not too wet and it has that like soft silicone feel to it, so it really does feel nice on the skin. Okay, so once you have the primer all melted into the skin, now we can move on to color correcting. And this is a step that you don't have to do, but I just recently started to incorporate this step in my foundation routine, and I feel like my blemishes are definitely less noticeable. So if you have like dark spots, this will be a good time to go in with like a concealer that matches your skin tone, just to apply over like any dark area. So I have like a dark mark here, there's one here, and then on my nose here, and just like any area that I want to look a little bit brighter underneath my foundation. So I'm just going in and I'm just going to start to just lightly stipple this in before I get started on my actual foundation. And this step is just all based on like personal preference. By no means I'm saying you have to make any area brighter, but if you do want to just like add like evenness to certain areas, this would be a good time to go in with a concealer or a color corrector just to add some evenness. Now everything is already even, so the foundation is just going to basically make us even more even, and it's just, this just basically gives us like a level playing field. Is that a saying? I don't know what the saying is, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. This step is just really going to prep us before the foundation, and it's just really going to make those dark areas even more even, so that when you apply the foundation, everything goes on nice and smoothly and no blemishes are going to peek through. So just moving on to foundation. For today's video, I'm going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation, and I finally have tried this foundation now. I've been wearing it for like a few weeks now, just because before I did a video on it, I wanted to actually see if I liked it, because I feel like this foundation has so much hype surrounding it, and I genuinely feel like I was like the only person who had not tried it out yet. I'm just going in and just really like stippling it into the skin. And with this foundation, at first I tried it out like a few weeks ago and I was underwhelmed. That's my problem. I'm like always underwhelmed when it comes to like trying products, but it really does take me like a little bit of time to see if I like it. Like, I'm not somebody who's gonna try something like one time and then be obsessed with it. I have to like keep using it to see if it really works. And let me tell y'all, this foundation really gives. So my favorite thing about this foundation is probably the formula, just because it's just so skin-like. I literally feel like I don't have anything on my face. And I also just really like the way that this product like melts right into my skin. I don't feel like this foundation is like sitting on top of my skin. Like whenever I wear it, I literally feel like it's just like melting right into my skin, and I love that. I love the feeling of it, and I also just really like the look of it. And it says matte finish on the bottle, but I feel like, or does it say matte? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this one is like the matte finish one. And I don't even feel like it's like super matte. I feel like it's more of like a natural matte. So I feel like you can still see like my natural glow throughout my skin, but it's not super luminous. And I know she just recently launched a formula that's even more like luminous, but I tend to like, I don't know, I really don't like foundations that are like too glowy. And from the reviews that I've seen, it looks like very wet. And I feel like it's definitely cute for like pictures and stuff like that, but when it's time to go out, I cannot do like super wet glowy skin, because it just do not last on me. But I just really like the way this foundation looks on my skin. It just is so comfortable, and I just feel like it looks so flawless, and I really like it. So now we can finally move on to the cream contour. And if you notice, I really didn't put too much product around like the perimeter of my hairline or on my cheekbones, and that's because we're going to go in and cream contour. I'm not going to put cream contour everywhere, just because I feel like sometimes it'd be looking weird on my forehead, but I am just going to add a little here and This is also the part where I do my nose, so I just like to go underneath my nose here, and then I like to go in this area. And by the way, I'm using this Fenty cream bronzer, and this one is in the shade Chocolate. For my forehead, I'm just going in with my Coco Naughty bronzer by Fenty, and I just prefer like a powdered bronzer on my forehead just because I like the way that it looks better. It's just like easier for me to apply, and also I don't like dealing with like creams around my like wigs and like just around my hairline in general. So I'm just lightly tapping this powder, and you can already see that this powder is just adding like a little bit more like warmth around my perimeter. So that's exactly what we want. And I'm just kind of like sweeping that downward. So I'm just blending away that cream contour, and this is just going to bronze up the cheeks a little bit and also just give the cheekbones like a little bit more structure. And I'm just blending this away from my nose, and this is just also going to help us with our nose contour a little bit and just give our nose like a little bit more structure before I go in with my concealer. So once we're done bronzing up the skin, now we can finally move on to concealer. And for concealer, I'm just going to be going in with this Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and this is one of those shades that matches my skin tone a little bit closer, so I'm just going to be using this to get rid of the darkness underneath my eyes. So I'm just blending this one right out, and the purpose of this concealer is just to basically get rid of any darkness and just make the under eye look a little bit more even. I am going to be going in with two concealers, and this is just the first one. So I'm just blending that out. Okay, so moving on to the second concealer. This is just the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. So I'm applying this one underneath my eyes too, but the difference with this concealer is you can tell it's a little bit more bright. So the first concealer just basically was to cancel out any darkness and even out my skin tone. So this concealer is actually going to brighten the under eye and just give me that soft golden tone that I like underneath my eyes. I always like to go for a concealer that has like a golden or like olive undertone. I just really like the way that they look on my skin. So I'm just blending that in, and I also just like to take it on my lid. So I'm just going back in with that cream bronzer brush, and I'm just basically blending the concealer and the bronzer into each other. And there's nothing on this brush besides the product that was on it before, but this is just going to make this area look nice and blended. So now I'm just going in instead of my under eye, and I'm just using the Laura Mercier Honey Translucent Powder for this step. I just like to apply it directly underneath my eyes. It can get messy though. I do like to use a lot of it because it really does give you that soft look when you use like a good amount of it. I also just like to take it on this area here. So now I'm just going in with a face powder that matches my skin tone, and this is just the MAC Studio Fix powder, and I'm in the color NW43, and I'm just taking this powder and just basically setting all the other areas of my face. And this is a step that I've been doing, and it's just really been making my makeup last longer and also just look a little bit softer. So this powder is translucent. Where it says translucent honey, so it has the banana shade to it, but to set the rest of my face, I do like to just go in with the powder that actually like matches my skin tone. So I'm taking it here, and then on my forehead, just to get rid of any excess shine, I'm just taking this powder. I'm just pressing it all over. And as I'm sweeping away this translucent powder, I'm kind of going in with this Charlotte Tilbury powder. And I just started doing this step because I just got this powder, but I love it. Like, this is a game changer. This is just like an extra step that you want to take. Like, this just has been making my makeup look so soft and just so flawless underneath my eyes. So I would definitely recommend trying this powder out just for that step alone. And then it's just also good for like certain areas with reducing shine. So once we have all of our powders blended in, now we can go in and add a little bit of color to the cheeks. So for today, I'm going to be playing around with this Natasha Denona palette, and this palette is so freaking cute. It has a blush in it, a highlighter, and then some eyeshadow shades, but I can't really show y'all because the minute that I took mine out of the box, it literally like broke. So I'm just applying this cream blush with my beauty blender. It just looks so freaking pretty on the cheeks, and I would never go for a blush this color, but it's just the way that this one just like melts right into the skin, and it also just adds like a little bit of a glow to the skin too. This blush is everything. It just adds like the perfect amount of color to my cheeks, and it also just has like a little bit of like radiance to it. So I have really been liking this blush. So blush is applied, and this blush is absolutely gorgeous. Now I just want to show you guys the highlighter, and I actually haven't been wearing too much highlighter, but for the sake of the video, I just want to show you guys how the highlighter looks and how it works. So this is what the highlighter looks like. Am I pointing to the right one? Yeah, this is what the highlighter looks like. And I'm just applying a little bit only at the tip of my brush, and I'm just going to sweep it right on top here. So I also just take a little bit of that highlighter down the center of my nose here. And I'm also just taking a little bit at the tip of my nose here. So the skin is complete and I just love the way my skin looks. I feel like it looks so soft and just so flawless. I love a flawless complexion. I've been like super into the skin lately, and I'm not really going to be doing too much with my eyes, but I'm just going to go ahead and just complete this eye off camera, and then I'll come back on and do this one on camera. So we are back. Here's the eye look. I told y'all not to expect anything too crazy, but this is just like that go-to look that I wear when I'm like trying to look put together, if I'm going out on a date, or if I just want like just like a little bit of something. I have like a little shimmer going on my lid, and then I have a little bit of drama really close to my lash line. So this is just like my go-to look, and I am going back in with my Natasha Denona palette, and I just have to be careful showing you all the colors because like I said, mine is broken. But let me try to hold it like this. I'm going to be using basically these 3 shades here. So I'm just starting by taking this transition shade throughout the crease of my eye, and I'm just blending it back and forth and in circular motions, just building up the intensity. This is going to be the shade that kind of like brings everything together. And I'm just smoking this all the way out when I get to the outer corner here, just in big circular motions, just so that everything can look like nice and blown out and nice and soft. So I don't want this eye look to just like stop abruptly. I want it to kind of just fade out, and this is what's really going to give it that soft look. So this was the first shade we used. Now I'm just going in with the second shade called Smoke, and I'm putting this all on the outer corner of my eye. So you really just want to start by tapping this color in, and then as it's building up, you want to start to blend it out. But in order to get it to show up, I just like to tap shades, especially darker shades, when it comes to like blending it out on like my outer corner here. And as I'm doing this eye, I'm also just like looking at this eye just to make sure that they come out similar, because it's happened to me before where I'll do like my eyes at separate times and then they'll look completely different. So be mindful to just like look at this eye as you're doing this eye so they don't turn out completely different. And I'm just tapping a little bit more to the outer C just because I want this to look really, really dark, and I'm just going to softly blend it upward, and I'm stopping like right in the center here. So I'm not even going like all the way in, I'm just stopping right in the middle of my eye, because now I'm going to go in and just apply our lid shade. And I honestly just use my finger to apply this. So I'm going to look down and just apply this towards the front of my eye here, and I'm just lightly tapping it in the center. I feel like this is super, super cute, especially for days where you just want to do like a little something, and I feel like this just looks really pretty on the skin. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do my eyeliner. So I just like to drag the eyeliner out. Now I'm just taking a cotton round and a little bit of black eyeshadow, and I'm just going to start to buff the eyeshadow into the eyeliner. And I'm just using this cotton round so I don't mess up my foundation or get any black shadow on my foundation. And now I'm just going back in with that dark brown and just kind of mixing it together with that black, and it should look a little something like this. And now I'm going to go ahead and apply my lashes, and I'll be right back. And I like to add just a little bit at the root of my lashes, and then I just pinch them together just to give them more of like an upwards angle. So same thing with this side. So I'm just lining my lips as normal. So just finishing this look off with this lip gloss from MAC, and this one is in the color Dangerous Curves. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you comment down below and also give this video a like, and make sure to subscribe to my channel. Also make sure you're following me on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram name here. But that's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did, stay to the end of the video, and I will see you in the next one.